Right, I think we are actually streaming now. Jim, say something.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Okay, cool. We actually can't pick it up.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so yeah, we should be able to pick up the entire room. Let me find the link. I actually sent it out to everyone. There. Let me find final agenda. There we go. Okay.
Thought you were bringing some native Nigerian. Are you expecting that? No.
Oh, I did not send it out to everyone. So.
I'm fine. I'm doing it. So link is back on this.
Okay, I sent it out.
Oh, that's how you want
Yeah, we had to over payment.
Well, he let me in like at 3:30. He's like, yeah, it's all here. Then he came back with the sheet of paper in his hand. It's like, it looks like. I said, oh, okay. And then I looked up on the reservation sheet. It said Picacho. I just assumed he was what I asked for. It's a nice room too. Daniel, this might have no chemicals for you. High fructose corn syrup.
Is that V8? Is that what that tomato thing is?
Big K vanilla cola.
Hmm.
V8 here. You want the V8?
I don't know. I'm considering it.
Original. Should know. As good as
Isn't
honest.
V8 pretty old? I'm not sure I want original.
Yeah. What kind of original is that? 40, 50 years?
This is nice. Take your time to snacks, Jude.
No problem, but you need to have napkins at your place. Pick on napkins.
Do you want me to go back and get some?
I can
Okay.
get some more.
30 second delay.
Yes, there is a delay. I figure that's partly why I'm gonna ask people to just type. Also because when there's like a 10-second delay on Skype, if you ask someone, hey, what's up? 10 seconds later, like, nothing. Like, oh my gosh.
You're not functional.
After 7,000.
It's not great. So I'm gonna see if this works. I'm gonna ask Maria if she can.
That's a lot. Is that your on?
Telling her to try to participate via live stream, and if it's really not working for her, then I'll just call her in on Skype. What's that?
It's also recording.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll record chat. It might only record audio and visuals, but we'll see. And if it doesn't record chat, I mean, I'm gonna be reading out loud anything that I think is super important, like on behalf of whoever typed it, so. But I've got it open. It's not gonna get broadcast, so there shouldn't be huge concerns about like feedback loops or anything. But I've got it open so I can monitor the chat and see if anyone's saying anything I need to care about. Who are we waiting on at this point?
Jude wants to get napkins.
Oh, okay.
And I guess Chris.
Excellent. That's when you have some snacks already?
Talking to Maria right now.
Hey, Jim, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. What? I haven't seen you in a while.
You know, the run from the wall.
Chris. started here about 10 minutes. Hey, so Jim, are you gonna take notes or record?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to record it on my phone.
Okay.
Riverhead, we got some recorders tonight.
We're actually, so first off, yeah, we've got 2 voice recorders in the office. They're just at my desk. And then, so you haven't looked for them. And then I'm also actually recording all of this. So this will actually end up being a video/audio on YouTube at the end of the meeting.
Okay. So do you just use that for later then?
Sure, where's the video camera?
There's no video camera. The video part is whatever documents we're pulling up.
Okay. All right, so,
You sent out the agenda, right?
yeah, I did.
What's the message?
GPSC Executive Board meeting.
Really long shirt.
Did you get it?
Got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, so it's 4:10 PM. I guess we'll be taking notes via recording, which I can make something of those notes later, the recording later. Okay, so it's 4:10 PM. Call meeting order. Call the audience. So we don't have any audience members now, but Marquise or Marquez, I think is his name, Johnson from College of Fine Arts will be coming at some point today. So he'll be the audience member. He can say something at that point if that's okay with everyone. Call to order, which we're kind of doing. Approve of the agenda. Anything to add? So Jude, after I sent out the preliminary agenda a couple days ago, sent me 3 things, which I included. Was there anything? Did I miss anyone? Anything from anyone? Okay, looks like we're good to go on the agenda.
Oh, I will just say I have nothing to say about the public forum website, so you can just strike that out, I think.
Okay.
I don't think that's it.
Approval.
You said you resend the agenda tonight.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Uh-huh.
I see the old one, but I don't see the updated one.
Okay, it happens sometimes. Okay, Jude, I just saw it again. Approval of the minutes from 5:23. Did everyone get a chance to look at them? Are you okay with the minutes? Okay, hearing no objections, we'll approve the minutes from 5/23/2016. We're going to skip the first item on old business. Jasmine just said there's nothing to discuss there. Jim, I know we're going to talk about this during the meeting tomorrow quite a bit, so the budget update. But this was on the old business. Do you want to leave it till tomorrow, or do you want to give us a preview of what do you want to do with this item that we had under old business?
Can I get some feedback from Chris? I requested a bunch of information, I haven't got anything yet.
Yeah, I know Estella's out, and so she'll be back tomorrow. So she's been out the past couple of days for some personal stuff. So that's why you haven't got anything back from her yet. So, and I don't have access to it, so.
Well, so if I get it in time for the meeting, I'll present it at the meeting.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about now, or you just want to wait and present all of it tomorrow?
I'll present, well, yeah, I'll present everything I have tomorrow. Right now, I don't have any
Okay.
stuff.
Anything else you want to talk about now, or you
Nothing
just want to wait and present all of it tomorrow?
I'll present-
Yeah, and I thought she was
Well,
going to be back.
Yeah, I'll present everything I have tomorrow. Right now, I don't have any stuff.
Anything else you want to talk about now, or?
Nothing.
All right, so next item, I just
Yeah,
left these things on again, budget, Shredder and Skype.
Right now, I don't have any
Jasmine said, you wanted to Shredder and Skype talk about now, or? All right, so next item, I just left these things on again, budget, Shredder and Skype. Jasmine, do you like any Shredder?
I told you Shredder, I forgot to look into it though, so
Alright, so next
I've got
item,
it updated.
I just left these things on budget, Shredder and Skype. Jasmine, do you like any Shredder?
I told you Shredder, I forgot to look into it though,
Alright,
so
so
I've
next
got it
item,
updated.
I just left this on Shredder and Skype, so this would be, do you like any Shredder?
I told you Shredder, I forgot to look into it though,
Alright,
so
so next
I've got
item,
it
we're
updated.
voting on three tomorrow, so this would be, Shredder and Skype, so this would be, do you like any Shredder?
I told you Shredder, I forgot to look into it though,
Alright,
so
so next
I've got it
item, we're
updated.
voting on three tomorrow, so this would be, Shredder and Skype, so this would be, do you like any Shredder?
I told you Shredder, I forgot to look into it though, so
Alright, so next
I've got
item,
it
we're
updated.
voting on three tomorrow, so this would be, Shredder and Skype, so this would be, do you like any Shredder?
I told you Shredder, I forgot to look into it though, so I've got it updated.
Were you in that voting on three tomorrow, so least Jim, one other person. Huh? Jude was there. Oh, we talked to her on the phone. That's right. She was in Chicago. Club POD.
Yeah.
I want to say Amanda, but it's not. Samantha. My mistake. Anyway, she's excited about doing it. We thought she would be a good candidate. That's why we're recommending her to consider to be hired by the General Counsel tomorrow. Obviously, they have the final input, and there's really good reasons for that. One is the General Counsel is sort of the governing body, but two, in case sometimes on the governing, the General Counsel might know that person and something about that person that would be really not a good thing. It's also good to have that input. So that's Samantha for Club POD. The second person, her name is Jessie Baxter, and she was formerly an employee of Congressman Grijalva's office. I think 10 years of congressional experience, and she had a lot of good ideas about how to work with Jude at the national level, also the state and local level, and I think her focus actually would be on the state level because she thinks there's more opportunities there. We had a second really good candidate that I'll talk about in a minute. Oh, I didn't list it on here. For development. So we had really two good candidates for that, but because she has actually congressional experience, Jude and I, who else was in that? Was it Jude and I? Was there one other person? Daniela recommends, her name's Jessie Baxter for Legislative Affairs. The third person here is the GPSC Institute person, Ezra Smith. He served 2 years ago, for 2 years as the Institute Director. There was another person who applied, but it was really easy to say he was going to be the person again because he'd done it before, so we trust his work. He's also in College of Psychology. Jesse, by the way, is a brand new master's student in, I think, CAPLA, so urban planning or something along those lines, specializing in water. Marketing and admin, we're going to talk separately, but I'm listed here since it's in an admin position. It's Kate Chisholm. And then the fifth person I didn't list is the development person. Her name is Stephanie Zawada, who was formerly with ASUA. Chris, right? What was her role?
I believe she was with Shaq.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then she also worked with Tech Launch Arizona, and she's worked with a bunch of other people on campus. Jude and I interviewed her. She was an excellent candidate for the Legislative Affairs, but once we chose Jessie, Jude and I thought that she might want to do development since she has so many connections on campus. And the development position's always been sort of underdefined, and we thought she might be a good person in that position. And that's why we recommended Stephanie Zawada for development. So we have a couple things to consider tomorrow. And once you get them all, I'm assuming we'll get them all approved tomorrow, then we can have them start on different things. So now we have the ability to pay them a little bit over the summer. And so maybe they can start the fall on the ground running. You can just pay them $100 for July or whatever it is. They can do some things. So that's the quick update on the staff hiring.
Okay, can we discuss that at all?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've worked with Stephanie Zawada. She was ITSAB chair when I was on ITSAB. She's completely unreliable. She kept telling us that she would do something and then not do it.
Okay.
She would tell us that, oh, I'll schedule this thing. She would never schedule it. She had a penchant for sending out a Facebook mass message the night before she wanted to have a meeting saying, hey guys, does a meeting at 10 a.m. work?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Or maybe it was 9 a.m. It was super early. It was probably 9 a.m. When me and Rachel couldn't make meetings, she would always say, oh, don't worry, I'll have a follow-up meeting at a time you guys can make it. Never scheduled it, never told us what happened. There was very little information. In summary, I'm sure she interviewed terrifically, but I would really rather have anyone else in that position because I would really rather have
Interesting.
I would love to have someone I can actually rely on, especially because last year we had 3 or 4 of our admins just vanish on us, and I really think we could stand to have some more reliability this year.
Yeah, so now you said all that, now I remember all that, because at the time I didn't want her for the Legislative Affairs person because of the unreliability, but I forgot some of those details, but the same message I said at the time during the interview process, I didn't want her because she was unreliable for Legislative Affairs. Anyone else about Stephanie? You good?
I did not.
Okay.
Here, you can have this one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're now new business staff hiring updates and where we are. Anything else about Stephanie or anything else about the staff hiring?
Do we have any other candidates?
No, we don't. We can certainly open up again. I mean, go ahead, Jude. Did you have something? And Jasmine's, yeah, no, now that Jasmine brought that up, I remember,
Well,
especially ITSAB stuff.
I recall you made similar comments about her when we had, because we interviewed her first for legislative after that, and you made similar comments. And although she also suggested her attitude or something she did prior to the interview suggested that she might not be someone who could always or easily reach out to, because I recall we had a time scheduled for the interview, then we called her,
That's right.
and then she
She pushed it back.
pushed forward that she wasn't going to speak to us at that time. And I think you also mentioned you sent an email and she didn't respond. And now we're having all these concerns and actions prior to the interview suggested that she might still be the same person. We might want to consider that candidate. I don't know, have you sent her, I think, did you send her an offer yet?
No, I told her she's recommended so far, but
Okay.
the Gender Council has ultimate approval.
Well, I don't know her in person, and I really don't know how effective she would be if she's willing to change or willing to do things better this time around. But if it's going to be same old attitude, I don't think it might be the right decision to make. But if she's willing to make adjustments, and people always change, people can change, or people can improve their behavior. So if she's willing to improve, I think we can definitely give her a chance. Nothing says that we cannot terminate our appointment or appointment. I think that's the word. If she falls short along the line and gets someone else. But if we have someone a candidate, we can consider that first step.
Chris, do you have any recollection of Stephanie?
I don't, I know, I think she was actually there before I started working with
Okay.
HVA.
All right.
Thoughts? Sure, if you have any thoughts, just,
I don't know who she is.
it's okay.
I would really prefer that we try to look for someone else. I mean, it's probably better to have someone in the position than no one, but I guess I'm thinking about the social admin, when we tried hiring a social admin, and then the person we hired flaked out, and we actually just scrapped the position
Cassie.
after that because it worked so poorly. And I don't think the development admin is a bad idea, and I'd really rather not see that happen again.
Okay. So what I can tell her is that we didn't vote during June. We'll vote again in July and give ourselves a month to find another
Okay.
candidate perhaps.
That sounds good, because if, like what Jasmine's saying, that stuff is all documented, that she did these things.
No, I mean, now that Jasmine it's triggered like all those memories, I just remembered this time, and how frustrating it was to get in touch with her this time, so. Okay, that's fine.
She sounds like she might have some time management issues.
I think she's probably involved too much.
She does overcommit herself.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was the problem. I think we mentioned that too. She had a lot of things she was into at the same time.
Okay. All right, so,
So for purposes of the general council meeting, rather than saying that's about it, can we just say we're still looking for people to develop?
yeah.
I prefer to do that.
Then you can scratch that or however you want.
You can always
edit that.
eliminate things from the agenda. You just
Yeah.
can't add them at this
Okay.
point.
And
Well,
I'll-
actually, you still can't add them for the next 40 minutes.
I'll contact her and just say, we're not gonna be able to get to it until July. And then, Chris, the new website, are the positions still posted on the new website?
Institute, I think? No, development admin or something.
As far as posted, as far as application wise,
Yeah. When I saw the new website, I didn't see the employment.
I didn't see them there.
Yeah, when I placed in UPSC/employment page or file not found. So maybe it's in a different location now. Yeah, that's why we could have these conversations, because here you go, Jasmine has a recollection, and maybe we'll hire her.
They are still.
Yeah? Where are they?
If you click on the
Get involved?
Get Involved tab, and then
Uh-huh.
appointment.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'll have to make a note to publicize that too. All right, cool. Anything else on the step hiring update?
I've got something for marketing admin too.
Okay.
I assume we had no open position there because the plan was just to reinstate the previous one.
It's Kate Chisolman. She ran out of her hours sometime in early May, I believe.
Right. So unfortunately, I heard some fairly negative things about her from, I think it was Kevin and Ju Young, who are the two people who had to work with her most closely. And then, so Alexi didn't say anything bad about her, But Lexi did say that she had to take over, Lexi had to take over the newsletter because Kate was trying to do it on a Mac and then port it to PC to send it out. And apparently this process was taking an extra like 2 hours or something. And that's basically all of Kate's hours for the week.
Okay.
And so Kate couldn't do the newsletter and any of her other duties. And so Lexi had to take over the newsletter. And I think for Lexi it takes like an hour or less.
Okay.
But it's a little concerning that a fairly big marketing tool can't be handled by the current marketing admin. Especially considering it's not that it's an inherently time-consuming job, it's that Kate couldn't get the workflow down in a way that made it a reasonable use of time. So, and the concerns from Ji-young and Kevin were just that she wasn't very responsive, and they had trouble. I think it was basically artistic differences. If one of them had like a vision that they wanted for marketing and it didn't jive with Kate's, then she would do her own thing.
Okay.
So it's entirely possible that she's still the best candidate we have. I personally would be more comfortable if we opened the position for a month, saw if we got a really good candidate, and if not, then rehire her. Although I also would have preferred to start that in like June, not now. So that's basically my thing.
Okay, so I talked to Kate, and she was frustrated by those two people, Ji-young and Kevin,
Okay.
especially since she doesn't report to them. So she felt like it was a situation, too many cooks in the kitchen, so that position reports to the program coordinator and the president. Last year we didn't have a program coordinator, which is one thing, and I think she felt that she didn't talk to Sarah that much, but Ji-young and Kevin were giving her feedback all the time, and they were not the people that she was reporting to directly. As far as the newsletter, I talked to Chris earlier today about this, and I just don't recall perfectly, but I think that when we had Jill as a program coordinator and then Day as a program coordinator, they did a lot of the newsletter. So I'm not sure if Kate was expected to do the newsletter this year or not.
She was originally, because we didn't have, either because we didn't have a program coordinator or just because people thought it naturally fell under
Okay.
marketing. I don't know which one.
Okay, so maybe it's just because Lexi is not the same didn't have the same status as program coordinator, so maybe it was hard for her to take that over. So when I talked to Kate, she was frustrated, but mostly by Ji and Kevin, because she didn't report to them, and they were talking to her all the time about things she should do, and she's like, well, I don't report to you, but you
Okay,
kind of...
that is really concerning to me, because Ju-young was director, well, the marketing chair. So you'd think logically he should be working very closely with the marketing admin. It's right in the job title. And then Kevin's events director. So you'd think it would be very logical, again, for him to be working very closely with the marketing director to get all that information out about all of his events.
Yeah, that's right.
So-
I just know when I worked with Kate previously, never had any of those issues. I mean, she was...
It sounds like you might have been acting as a go-between.
No, I mean, she
No?
worked a lot with Alan, and I
Okay.
worked too. And I trusted that they all worked together. So, I worked with her very well. And I know Alan, who was the vice president at the time, worked with her well. So, I don't know, it sounds like it was a personality conflict maybe in the end with Ji-young and Kevin. Because when she was, 2 years ago, when she was the Mac admin, our Facebook likes grew. We got a new YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat accounts when she was previously the Mac person. So that year we grew a lot, and she did a lot of brand new things we hadn't done before. So I felt like she was very good.
Well, I don't think that, okay, so, I'm not even sure, what does the development director do?
Oh, do you want to talk about development or the Mac
Well,
person?
Original or Kate?
Yeah, no, because what I was gonna say was, I don't think we need development's doing what I think they are, they're not critical, but I think we have marketing stuff that needs to get done.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up. Got it.
So, is that, but I'm not sure what development does. I mean, other than,
The idea is to raise money, but in my experience, the development position's always been weird because it's become like an adjunct events person. And maybe gets donations from a local company, so we have free water bottles to give out at graduate orientation. But it hasn't really ever done more than something like that.
so it sounds like maybe marketing is a little bit more urgent than development.
I think it is.
Do we have, could we maybe get Young to, send us an email and tell us his side of things or something? get some more feedback. It sounds like, I agree with it, it does sound like it's like a personality thing.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
And, no offense to Kevin, he's a great guy, but, I can see, he tends to be, he's like me, he tends to be a little bit, non-political.
Like what?
And,
Say the word, like what? I want to hear it, what is it, the word is.
no, if I'm looking for a polite one. No, I mean, he's just kind of a very direct, straightforward, non-political guy, who just says what he thinks, I do the same thing. People don't like me because they have a hard time working with me. So I could see having that opinion, we've seen Kevin interact that way with me and with other folks. I could see there being, a personality conflict there.
I think one of the things we need to talk about maybe a little bit is how we would define the roles clearly of the marketing admin with other people that this role would be interacting with, because it sounds like what you two have been talking about is that there was not enough clarity about what the expectation was for her interaction with others who would be working closely with her. So it'd be obvious that last year she should have been working with Gia and Kevin, but it doesn't sound like it was super clear to all three of them, who did what, and what the chain of command was, and what the hierarchy of suggestiveness would be.
I think the chain was clear. I mean, it's the president, program coordinator, but
That's not
only
a,
complaint.
so chain of command is the wrong term here. It's who you should be working with, because she should have been getting material to put out on our social media or whatever from Kevin. She should have been getting ideas or whatever from Ju Young, or telling Ju Young that she needed something. And it sounds like none of that communication was happening, and it sounds like it's because she thought it shouldn't be, which that's what I'm finding concerning.
Yeah, I think I personally think it's a personality conflict. She ran out of her hours, before each semester early. So I think she did plenty of work. So I don't think it's the amount of work she did is a problem. And I think it's a personality thing, because 2 years ago, there was never a problem like this.
Well,
She worked
2
very
years
well.
ago, there were problems with getting word out about important events. So, for example, the Food Fridays and stuff. She had an announcement on our Facebook page the day before and the day of, which was great. There was nothing else, and that's a case where she should have been working more with Alan to get that information out more often, more clearly to everyone, instead of just her doing her own thing.
Okay, well, I don't know. I think she was great 2 years ago.
I mean, like I'm saying, I don't think, so I think if we found no one else, I think she'd be fine to rehire. I just believe, based on everything that happened last year, that we could find someone better if we looked, and that we should look just to check. Although Jim makes a good point that we need someone immediately, basically. So I'd recommend that we have basically summer supplemental comp hours for this position. And then make a final hiring decision closer, maybe either July or August, if we get any applications. If there's no applications, just rehire her, no problem.
Any thoughts from anyone else?
Well, I do want to mention that Kevin stays in his current role as events director. He might have this problem with whoever he works with, because even working with me as social chair, we have pretty distinct budgets. He's trying to tell me how to run my budget, to the point where Claudia actually interrupts him and tells him to pipe down, and that she's the boss of both of us, and she's going to manage us both, and that he's not my boss. So Kevin has a little bit of an attitude with me, and Kate's also a woman, so I have to just wonder if he has a little bit of an attitude with women. But he didn't try that with Jim. He didn't try to tell Jim what to do. He told me what to do. Claudia had to shut him down. So.
Okay, let's not accuse Kevin of sexism here, because he definitely has nothing like that with me.
Well, we need to ask if this is the problem of who is supposed to be working with whom. We need to delineate that clearly. We don't have a program coordinator, right? We're still, so.
We're going to have one starting July 1st, someone?
Well, yeah, I mean, really, as far as this role, Claudia is working with both.
Okay.
And so.
Both Kevin and?
Both Kevin and Elaine.
Okay.
On things, and so yeah, that would be the advisor that would work closely with those two individuals.
Maria would like to say something, by the way, whenever you're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
To go, Claudia and I stepped at that too a little bit yesterday. Because I know that you've been calling for the boss, but Claudia's the advisor. Claudia's like, yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that because I'm not the boss, I'm the advisor. And so yeah, I think that would be the staff member that would work with both of those candidates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I think it needs to be made clear that if we're going to have someone, who's in charge of marketing this year? Like Jude? So he's going to be working with the marketing director a lot, and so that needs to be, that needs to be articulated clearly at the beginning of this year, saying you're not just taking orders from the president and being advised by Claudia, you're also meant to be working amongst everybody else and getting feedback from multiple people. Make that clear.
And that's
then that deals with the problem.
what I thought.
When does Maria get to talk?
Well, yeah, Maria, go ahead and I'll talk.
Okay,
Go ahead, Maria.
hang on.
Sorry about that.
Hey Maria, you're unmuted, go.
Cool. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I do remember having a conversation about Kate and Jiyoung and so forth during one of the executive board meetings last year. However, it didn't seem to be a big problem when it was presented. It seemed to be something that was just getting passed from Kate to who's doing it now?
Who's doing the marketing stuff now?
The newsletter. The newsletter, sorry.
Lexi.
Lexi, yeah. So it was just getting passed. There are some other issues too. Between other people, and it just didn't seem like this was something big. There wasn't much that I heard during executive board meetings that Kate wasn't doing her job or something was going wrong. So I'm just very surprised to hear this, honestly.
So Jude, and I'll respond to Daniel and Jude. So I think what you described is what my experience was 2 years ago. I mean, she reported to me, but she worked mostly with the vice president at the time. So that was my experience. And
Is
then
that part of the job description? And if not, I think it ought to be.
Yeah.
I think it is, and if
Okay.
it isn't, I agree with you. I think it is. That was my understanding. Jude, go ahead. You're next.
Okay, so I want to agree with Daniel on that. I think I've had similar things to what you said. She not responding when they wanted her to help play some role. I think I overheard that there were some things they needed her to help out with, or maybe how they wanted to pass out some information on Facebook, and she probably just did not reason with them, or wasn't even willing to listen to them at all. And well, I personally decided I wasn't going to make assumptions based on what I had, so I sent an email to meet with her personally, and we could have a conversation.
When did you email?
That was last month, I believe.
She's been out of the country for a month.
Yeah, she told me she was somewhere in Mexico, I think, but that she was going to send me an email when she comes back. So I really can't say. I don't want to judge her based on whatever anyone has said in the past, because I've not worked with her. I like to give her the benefit of doubt, but I would say it's important that we clarify that she'll be doing a lot of work with whoever is in charge of marketing committee.
So I did tell her that she'd be working with you.
Yeah, so it's important that she understands that, so that we don't have conflict of interest or issues where we want to pass her something and she's probably not willing to work with us, or she wants to do her thing, or she's not available. That would only make it work a lot more difficult. I think at this point I'll be interested to work with someone who's willing to move forward, or who's willing to do the job. So if she's willing to say that she's willing to work with me and whoever the other persons who have in marketing, I'm guessing that she might also have to work with Kevin. I'm hoping that she will be professional enough to put aside whatever personal differences they have and work as a professional. If she's willing to do that, that's fine with me.
Okay. So you recommend that we hire her with that understanding?
I think I would have really loved to talk to her first if I make any recommendations or not. And I think it's also important that she recognize. I don't know, it's hard to say. I wish I had spoken to her. I can.
Yeah,
say.
she was out of the country for about a month, and she'll be back in Tucson next week.
I think she told me in June. She was going to be back.
Yeah, I think that said the 29th. It's a week from today, I think.
Jasmine said we can keep this position. When was it this position you suggested keeping on things for?
My suggestion was just give her supplemental compensation while having the position open, and then at the end of either July or August, make a final decision on whether to rehire her for the school year or hire someone new. So she'd still get to work over the summer, which might actually alleviate everyone's concerns and solve the problem.
Yeah,
On its own.
I agree with that. I think I agree with that. That would at least give us a better understanding of where she stands.
I do think if we do decide to just hire her immediately, then we should revamp the position description, so like the contract she's going to be signing essentially.
And that would be my option, so then it's clear, everyone's very clear about, this is what you were saying, what her expectations are. And maybe just because we didn't have a program coordinator last year, that made everything harder, because in the 2 years when we had program coordinators, we had a guy Allen in that position, I never heard any of these kind of problems, like the program coordinator was able to work with that person to do the newsletter and so forth. And I think having a program coordinator would stabilize a lot of the concerns. That's my own take. And now we're going to have one July 1st, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would actually say work with kids.
So that's my personal option. Do you have a strong preference either way?
What?
So with Jasmine's last suggestion, we do keep her revamp the description, so everyone's very...
I do agree with that idea.
That's what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I just traveled 7,000 miles, so my brain's a little
I
off.
understand.
Okay.
Maria would like to talk again.
Okay. I mean, go ahead.
Hang on. Okay, you're on.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I strongly believe we should just keep Kate because as I said, I heard nothing about her doing a bad job last year, and if we're talking about conflicts inside, the organization or people not knowing what to do and who's responsible for what, there was something going on with Jared and I forgot Alexi and some other people, and Young I think was upset about his role not being completely clear at some point during last year, and I do agree that a lot of it I think was related to us not having someone in the office like a program coordinator, and I think now that we will have someone in the office, I think this will become more clear and people will understand what they're doing, especially if we tell Kate and anyone else we feel that needs to improve in any area what exactly is implied for their positions. So I just think that there's no need to actually open the position up, especially if we're not doing that for other people. We haven't done that in the past. When we had someone, we usually them unless people were really, really upset. Multiple people were upset with them. So that's just my.
So it sounds, thank you, Maria. So it sounds like there's consensus on revamping the position. So I can share the position description with everyone probably tonight. I can find it. And I think a lot of what Daniel said, my understanding it should be in there. Anyway, did you want to say something, Elaine, before we finish this part of the conversation?
Yeah, it seems to me so shitty to bring her on as summer help and then drop her later. That seems shitty.
Well, that was one scenario, but that could be a scenario. That's what you're saying. If that scenario were to occur, that would be shitty.
If the idea is that it's probationary period to see if she works well with Jude, that actually kind of, in a certain way, makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that we would just dispose of her, just leave the position open, have her work at supplemental comp rates, and then dump her, that just seems exploitive.
I don't think that's was that what you said?
That was she'd work with you over the summer, and then if it goes well, we keep her, and if it doesn't, we hire someone else. That was the idea.
Are you suggesting that she said if she worked with me over the summer and then at the end of the summer we open the position?
My understanding of what we were saying is that we would keep the position open while she's working.
Yes, that was the suggestion. But then have a hard deadline of July or early August.
So,
Well, yet again, I don't have any reason to suggest that we dispose or we not review our contract because I haven't worked with her yet. And I hope that she is willing. She sounded like someone who was willing to work with me when I sent her in the door. She sounded like someone who was willing to make progress. I would only say that let's give her some time to see how willing she is to do our job. And maybe if we have a clearly written job description, that might also help her.
can we start with that so I can send out the description
we
everyone?
can definitely do that. That might also help her understand what is expected of her.
Okay. So maybe we could put it on the July agenda. And maybe that makes sense. Okay. So this is actually really useful. I'm glad we talked about this. Staff hiring update. Anything for staff hiring?
Yeah, I wanted to ask.
Okay, Jude and then Jim.
I wanted to ask, I learned that we no longer have an elections director, is that correct?
Relations?
Elections.
Director?
Oh, that's something that I never touch. Usually I'll just let Chris or whoever else handle that. Do you want to be the elections director?
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, Zach and I kind of talked about it today. I didn't know if maybe you wanted to help me figure out the hiring for that. We kind of leave that up, or somebody, whoever, to find the new elections director. If you need to find one.
So I know at some point we were planning on using ASUA's elections system or something like that. Did that get dropped?
I think it's a continued discussion
Okay.
to utilize the potential for utilization of the
Supreme Court?
the Supreme Court and making it just the student governance Supreme Court and not the HOA Supreme Court. But those are still conversations that need to happen on a larger scale. And so it would be good to have those conversations sooner rather than later, because I know that Janice will be hiring those individuals come September. So we probably need to figure that out. It's going to happen.
So I'll put it on the next agenda. We can talk about it a little bit more. So
Yeah,
Supreme
and it's
Court.
probably a deeper discussion too with some of the, Mikey and some of the other HOA leadership.
Okay.
Lovely.
So Jim, you were the next person about staff.
Yeah, so two things. First, did we just make a decision?
Yeah, I'm gonna send out the position description, and we can comment on it, and if needed, we'll modify it. I texted her to see if she can talk to Jude and me Thursday or Friday. So tomorrow or Friday.
So she's what?
She texted me back. We could talk to her, for example, tomorrow or Thursday. Yeah, on the phone before she comes back to town.
So did we did not make a decision?
We cannot make hiring decisions. The general counsel has to make hiring decisions.
We'll not put her on tomorrow's agenda, but we will put it on for the July agenda.
Second thing, what I wanted to propose, I think right at the same time, before we talk about the staff hiring to the general counsel, I think it would be really useful for somebody, maybe use that or somebody else, to actually put up an org chart of here's all of the positions, and here's the reporting structure. Because I've been in this organization for a long time, and I'm getting confused about who's reporting who and what all the positions are. So I think especially new people on the council would really benefit from that before we discuss these positions. And we also ought to put that on our website, so people know what are our staff positions and who they report to. Particularly with the two new admin people we're getting. Yes, let's, an org chart or something, someone else.
All right, let's move on. That was a great discussion. Repository, Jim Collins and Wei Rin. I invited him. I'm not sure if he's coming. I'll text him real quick. Jim, you can start for now with repository. Is there any updates on that?
No, I think we really need it. I want to warn you, we might leave stuff off the old website, we don't put that stuff right away. As far as, so the two issues are collecting together what we have now. Things seem to be spread out in a lot of different places. There's stuff on the website, there's stuff in email accounts. Some email accounts have been deleted. We lost some stuff already. Some stuff is stored in cloud storage, Dropbox. It looks like we used to have another cloud storage this year. So collecting all the stuff is one question. The second question is, where do we put it all? Where it's not going to disappear again.
We do have, so the university does have what they call a box, which is a university provided pretty much Dropbox with unlimited data storage for areas. We do have one that we just created for teaching governance and programs. So we could easily create just the GPSC file that's only viewable by GPSC and only available to GPSC within the box itself, and provide access to everything, if that would be what we wanted to do. So we do have that opportunity to do that from the university standpoint, to where it's housed at the university. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on?
I mean, that's a good starting point. I texted Ray Rand, I thought he was coming. He is coming when he gets off work, so maybe when he wants to comment on
So why
that.
don't we move on to that? then?
Okay, sounds good. Next item on the agenda, social chair job description, Elaine Yee.
Yeah, so we don't currently really have a social chair job description. And what I mean by that is like, given the conversation we've had earlier already about like how the social chair is supposed to interact with the people like the events director, for instance, we don't really have like an outline wording that says how that's supposed to happen. We also don't have like I don't have a sense of like if my budget's going to change, so that's another issue, because one of my responsibilities so far that I've taken on myself is to enhance the programming that we already have in place, like potential events. And then to add more programming, like to work with Campus Rec. And this is all very like, these are just things I've done on my own, working with other people, other constituents in the university who would like to see GPSC branch out into these areas. And so I've been doing that, but it's not like in my job description. And I think going forward, like for the social chair handbook that I will give to the next social chair, it needs to be like more delineated, like what kinds of things are available as potential duties for the social chair, so they have a sense of direction and possibility and potential for what their job can do. And then from that point forward, they can grow the job as the needs of the constituents evolve.
So do you have a job description written that you would like us to consider?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Daniel.
Sorry. Maybe just in my assumption about the social chair was that it was kind of purposefully vague so that you could do and really kind of transform it into whatever you wanted. So not that you were required to do work with the Campus Rec, but that you particularly wanted to, and so felt like that was the work we wanted to put towards it. And so while I definitely see the value in like putting a little structure onto the social chair with a job description, I would want it to be fairly open still, because I would the way in which those social sort of opportunities come up is basically, it's not like those are set in stone the way that these meetings that we do are. So my job is very specific, and I have to do these things exactly. But you have much more flexibility as social chair, and I think that's a valuable thing.
I think you make a good point. Yeah, it has been easy to like initiate this program on Campus Rec, just getting into those meetings with people, because I don't have the rules saying that I can't.
Right. So I think maybe a coherent handbook, rather than like a restricting job description, would be more the speed and clean that we want to. So here's the things that I've done, and here are some possible opportunities for you that you can turn into your own thing. Not that we can't build a job description. I think if you want one, you should write one, but keeping in mind the flexibility.
Jasmine she was nodding. Do you want to say something, Jasmine?
I disagree.
Okay. I think Daniel's right. I think calling it a handbook versus a description, that alone might be helpful, because then there are 3 or 4 things that maybe are structured, but then there is that openness. So do you want to write something that we can all look at by the next meeting?
Joy had sent me, Joy and Sarah had sent me the previous social share handbook, and I'll circulate it and I'll update it. I'll send you an update as to what I would like to add, just given what I've already done, to reflect like what the social chair has already done this summer, and we can all get on the same page about it. And there'll also be a document that will provide some verification as to what I'm reporting in the meetings. Like when I say I'm doing X, Y, and Z, that it's in written form.
Sounds great.
Maria wants to talk. Okay. You're unmuted.
Okay. Sorry, I think I might have missed the exact place where Elaine was talking about her position. But basically, I sent out like a couple of lines, language from some time ago when we still had the social chair. I think it was like 2 years back or so. There wasn't really much. I'm not sure that I was able to hear the full conversation just because Skype is not very reliable. But I think basically, yeah, Elaine might have a good idea of what her position probably entails, and we should move in that direction. You of course use any language that's possible or necessary if we wanted to do that, but I think we should, since we don't have anything, if we wanted to create anything at all, Elaine would be the person.
Good, Jim.
Yeah, I know, because of the government document, Mary, I know what you're talking about. Somebody, I think Jill Augustine there was a job description. It's one of those things that disappeared when one group of people got the next month. And I've got it, Maria sent it to me. I'll send it to, does everyone want it, or should I send it to?
I mean, maybe Elaine, you can start and
Yeah, I'll
pick a
send it to
Google Doc
Elaine.
and share it with whoever, so we can
Yeah.
give. I mean, Daniel has good ideas. We can give you some input.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. Excellent. So it sounds like we're done with this part. I'll leave it for the next evening. And over there.
One other quick thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to propose, since we've got a bunch of handbooks floating around, can we put all the handbooks somewhere?
On the Dropbox sounds good.
Yeah. So, Judy.
Can we put it someplace where everybody can get to it?
Dropbox, everyone can get to. You can access it via the website now.
We should put it in the historical document section of the
Yeah.
Constitution and things.
Exactly.
I'll be there.
Yeah, currently the constitutional, let me just,
Anything else, Jim? Okay.
it's about historical
Thank
documents, and then Constitution, bylaws, and elections code can all be reached.
Yeah, so
It
I
sends you
can
to a
do this
Dropbox.
tomorrow.
Actually, elections code's not there, unfortunately, so we have to fix that, but it could easily have handbooks somewhere on there too.
you. So Elaine, this is your item. Anything else for you? Cool. Thanks, Elaine. Next thing I just put here, updates on everyone's goals for this year. I'll start with Jude. I'll go around this. What are 2 or 3 things you're doing towards your goals for this year? You can do, if some of this is in the report, you can wait till the report.
But I think I might just end up talking about the 3 things.
In the report?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
in
fine.
the agenda. Because the 3 things you have here with my names are part of my updates.
Okay, so I'll wait till
So
then.
I can just talk about them.
So I'll talk, I see my name next, or my title next. I think everyone saw that letter to the editor. I think they listed it as something else, but Summer of Sunlight Transparency. I've put Jude in touch with a number of deans and so forth. I've been able to raise, I think, $12,000 for the REAP program so far this summer. Talked to Chris about our rollover fee, what it's going to be, and hopefully we can put most of that into travel. This doesn't really belong under my goals. They're just free association right now. And I think that's kind of it. The raising of the $12,000 for the REAP is a big deal for me. The letter, and then just trying to get the budget with Jim and everyone else on track. Those are a few of my quick updates. External Vice President, was Administrative Vice President, Jasmine. What have you been up to so far?
Fun stuff, research and project grants. I've got an email to read from a constituent. This was sent to Joni. Dear GPSC, can someone please clarify why REAP grants have been slashed in half? As of April 2016, grants were $2,000. The website now states that the grant max has been lowered to $1,000. This is extremely concerning as graduate student funding is already in dire straits here at the University of Arizona. Slashing competitive funding for doctoral research will have serious impacts on the caliber of doctoral research produced at U of A and on recruiting and retaining graduate students. As a doctoral student in sociology who voted in the GPSC elections and who pays student fees, I request some answers. And then Joni's response was, pretty much all we could say. I apologize for the change in our grant awards. We received a significant decrease in our budget. The GPSC General Council voted to decrease the funds so that we were able to support more students. We hope to increase our budget in the future. So on the one hand, this is, I guess, sort of a tangible impact of SSFAB decision to cut our funding so much. But on the other hand, in some ways, this is almost a good email because it means that people actually noticed our research grants program to the extent that they paid attention and saw when the amount of funding we offered changed. and that they were actually considering our program as a significant source of funding for graduate students here. So, I mean, obviously it sucks, and our constituents are unhappy about this, and we're doing everything we can to try to bring in more money to solve this problem. But on the other hand, it shows that we actually, like, we're making a big impact, and I think that is an awesome thing to take away from this email.
When you were reading that too, I was like, well, 3 years ago we had $0.
Exactly.
So it sucks it went down, but yeah, okay. Assembly chair.
A little bit more, sorry.
Yep.
Same line. Joni has already started training Charlotte, her replacement.
Is Charlotte the woman from public health or?
No, Charlotte is
Oh,
the one
linguistics.
from
From
linguistics.
She made that choice. Okay, got it.
Yep. The whole committee decided.
Well, we let Joni decide in the end, right? It was like a small little thing.
No, it actually ended up being a whole committee decision.
It wasn't part of that.
Everyone but you. I don't remember why you were left off. I think it wound up being Joni was asking us specifically, individually, for feedback.
Right. I mean, both were great. So.
Yeah. So we decided on Charlotte, and she's already being trained. Today we went over everything on the website. I pitched in a little bit whenever there was a historical question like, Jasmine, why on earth is this here?
Okay.
I think it's going to go great. I'm excited. I mean, obviously sad Joni's leaving, but I think that she's leaving the program in great hands. And then other than that, I've been meeting with reps to either introduce them to the idea of being a rep, this is how it works, this is what we're expecting of you, or to just sort of check in and see what long-term reps want to do. Because I'm trying to sort of tailor each rep position to the interests of the person. And so far it's been awesome because I've gotten almost no overlap in interests, meaning that there are not 3 people all trying to get on the same committee. So,
Happy accidents.
oh, and Skype stopped working, so goodbye, Maria. I'll try to get that restarted. That's been going really well, I think. I've gotten, I think, 5 or 6 committee requests that I'm pretty sure everyone's going to fill. And it sounds like the reps who are coming back are a lot more optimistic about this year than they started out.
Are you using the?
Yes, I've been updating that. So that's pretty much the state of things on my end. Oh, and live streaming. It's up. It seems to be working.
Mostly.
No, the Skype call crashing is unrelated. The live stream's still going, I believe.
Okay, great. Cool. Any things? Well, I'll just go to Daniel. So Daniel, any updates? Kind of your couple goals for the year.
So we're moving forward on, because Jasmine brought up the constitutional amendment from last year that actually takes me a whole lot of effort and time. So we're bringing that up, and we're going to at least talk about it tomorrow. I think with a couple of tweaks that I noticed, that I'm happy to support it as is. And then also going forward on the open letter to marginalized students, I noticed that
There's some tweaks today.
Zach and one other person has given me feedback on that, which is fine. But I'm going to present it as a whole to everybody and see if there's anybody else who wants to involve themselves in it. And I think then we decide how I want to disseminate it, what we want to do with it exactly. I think sending it via email to all of the students who have access to it and so on, sending it to all of the cultural advocacy groups so that they can then send it out to all of their people, and then working on publishing it in the Wildcat or something like that.
Sweet.
And then, So,
what is the constitutional amendment? I got an email from a new law person, and they were unsure of it.
Okay, so there are 3, I think there are 3. There are several constitutional amendments we're going to be looking at. There are 3. We're proposing to add a new non-Juris Doctorate law student rep, because we don't have one. We're adding the College of Medicine in Phoenix rep, because we don't have one for that. And then we're adding all of the cultural centers, and this is a long constitutional amendment from last year. It's a full paragraph, so everyone from the LGBT resource, disability resource, all of those could have membership in the GPSC.
So just heads up, I personally think it's a year-long conversation to have, or at least a semester-long semester, because we have a constituent or a representative-based system where we have a number of students and then we have representatives. And so I think we should have cultural groups, but how we do that, I think, is a longer conversation for the general council. That's going to be my own statement.
So
just a heads
this
up.
is our first foray into it.
Okay. You don't anticipate we're going to pass it tomorrow? We're going to talk about it tomorrow.
We will see. But I know that I'm fairly happy with it as is, personally speaking. And so I'll be advocating.
So I personally think it's a
Yeah.
huge change for GPLC. But
Yeah.
sorry,
So-
this is your part of the
Yeah,
conversation.
so I will be advocating for it because I think it's a huge and necessary change.
I think it's huge and necessary, but I don't think it should be done in June, 2 months into our terms. Anyway, okay, I apologize,
And
Daniel.
that is it on my goals.
Okay. Treasurer Jim, you're up. Thanks, Daniel.
I've just been lazy and haven't gotten anything done in the courts.
Jim, it really sucks.
Yeah, well, it's some time.
Just give us 2 updates then, 2 things you've done.
Well, I mean, I am working on the budget, but I can't get, you know, without data, there's not much I can do. So, hopefully, I know that our last budget, the budget that we passed, doesn't really have any one-to-one correspondence with reality, where reality is defined by what they do at the business office.
Okay.
And it looks like the way, when we look at what happened, because this year's budget is pretty much they're very, very similar to last year's budget. And when I look at what's happening with the money from last year's budget, nobody really followed the budget. You know, money got spent just kind of willy-nilly from a bunch of different places. And so the budget, and last year's budget, I don't believe was any more accurate than this year. So and this may go back a little longer, because I think last year's budget probably came from the budget from the year before. I think what people are doing is just taking the budget from the year before, kind of looking at it, changing a few numbers, and saying that's our new budget.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah.
But then, when people spend money, because the budget doesn't relate to the actual accounts, they're just sort of spending money from kind of random places, and it makes the business office people's lives really miserable. It seems to me that a huge amount of effort is being spent right now trying to move money around to where it should have been taken from. You know, does that sound?
Yeah, correct. No, we're always, at least I know the past couple of years, we spend a lot of time reshuffling money, doing things at the end of the year, and we always get called out on it. And so it would be good to clean it up, so that way, from the rest of the university, we don't get called out on it. And we're doing a lot of transfer overs after the end of the fiscal year. Because the way that it works is the fiscal year ends June 30th. We have 2 weeks to actually shift money around, but no more expenses can be paid. And so we're usually stuck shifting money around that's 14 because they're not expensed in the right locations, things like that. And so yeah, it would be good to clean it up. So
Yeah, so what I'm trying to put together, I think this is a thing that makes sense, is to look at sort of the categories in which we're spending, match them up with the existing accounts,
What do you mean existing? What's the ones in the business
the ones that the business
Okay.
office has, create new accounts with the business office for things that aren't covered,
Okay.
so that there will be a one-to-one correspondence between our sort of line items on our budget and accounts in the business office. So that, if we're gonna
Makes sense.
budget, $5,000 for, say, office supplies, there should be an account for office supplies, and we should put $5,000 into it at the beginning of the year, and then people, when they buy office supplies, they charge it against that account, and then we can actually keep track of everything. And if we start running low on money, on some particular account, we'll know about it. Then we can make a decision about, we need more money for, say, showcase and stuff, or something like that, and, So that's what I think is a sensible way to do this.
So that's part of towards your goals?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? I just want everyone to
Yeah.
say a few things.
Well, we got the, no, that's probably pretty much all of this.
Okay.
Like I said, I kind of just related to.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Secretary, is Maria back online?
Yeah, she's here.
Maria, can you share a 2-minute update on some of your goals you're working on for this year?
Okay. So basically, first of all, we have kind of started working on the governing docs committee. So right now what we're doing is we're looking at the previous documents, looking at the changes that were made. And I did send some of the previous documents I found to Jim and Elaine, and one other member of our committee also knows what documents we're currently working on. And we're probably going to have a Skype meeting as soon as my technical difficulties, I think I figured out how to do it, so probably sometime soon. I've also met with Jude. We talked about the international, some of my experiences as an international student, some of the ideas I had in more detail from the NAGPS conferences. And I'm very interested to see if there's anything I can do to help. So if Jude, if there's anything you think, I can collaborate on. I know you were working on some collaboration with the ISS office. So if there's anything I can do to help in addition, I'd be glad to do that. So I just had a very long talk. It was very enjoyable. So if Jude ever has any free time, I'd be glad to continue talking. What else? So I am currently abroad. I think everyone knows that. I was having some technical difficulties. I apologize for that. And because of that, it turns out the general council minutes also from the previous meeting did not get sent out, and I didn't want to confuse people since we'll be approving the previous ones from before that. But I can send those out as well if you need me to. Though I don't think people will have enough time to look at them. But the recordings have been sent out previously a long time ago, so that's all there. And basically, if there is, I know we have a new website, so if there's any way in the future, if it makes it any easier for me to start uploading the recordings myself with those protocols, if we decide that we want to have the secretary do that, I can do that as well. And I don't know what else. Let me look at the goals. I don't have them memorized. I think I've covered most of my goals.
Yeah. Thank you, Maria. Elaine, you're the last person I have listed here. Anything you just want to progress in your goals?
Yeah, I have made some progress with my first goal, which is expanding campus rec services, and not necessarily only to international students. Right now we're focusing on swim lessons because they're a relatively short amount of time, only 2 weeks, and they have multiple sessions over the summer, so we thought we could make an impact that way. Number 3, assessment and accountability of events, budget activities, and social committee activities. I'm putting together a spreadsheet right now of my expenditures thus far. And I'm hoping to have that ready for tomorrow if Jim wants to share it. For the International Student First Year Workshop Series, I actually ended up submitting a couple of workshop proposals to address this because I wasn't sure how else to do it as social chair. And then as for Safe Zone, I'm talking to people in LGBT right now about that matter, about expanding the reach of the Safe Zone program.
Thank you, Elaine. Thanks, everyone. I think we're done with that part of it.
I had a question for
Yes.
Jim. What is the situation with GPSC having a person on ASUA's appropriations board, I think it is?
Once we hire the club POD person.
They're going to be that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a rep who might have been interested in doing that, but I think she might just be more interested in being on the appropriations
Oh,
committee
okay.
for GPSC instead.
Samantha, that's the person if we approve her tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the job description for sure.
Okay, great.
Basically, we sort of need our club committee person to be involved with ASUA on that kind of thing. So, to the extent that we're only sending one person, that's.
Okay.
cool. So Jude, you have the next 3 items on the agenda, ABOR. So you want to start with the ABOR, assuming you want to talk about going to ABOR and a little bit of update there?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to talk about those 3 agenda and also give a rough summary of what I've been up to in the last
Sure.
2 weeks. So regarding ABOR, because I was in those long meetings, and I think it was a little bit informative to learn about some of the things they said they achieved in this last section. It was mostly a summary about what they did in this last section, because I think they just ended the year. Nothing so much was said about planning for the next year. They mentioned some additional money they received, like $2 million they received from the government. They also said they supported resident funding this last year. A couple of things, if you're interested in knowing all of that, I think I can talk to you personally on that, so we don't take too much. I have a note on that though. But one thing was I noticed that little or nothing was said about grad students, because they focused so much on what they did. Though they said they kind of, President Clinton did mention that in the last year they changed their approach to things and they focused on 3 things that led to their success, one of which she highlighted as putting students at the center of the funding model. But it appeared that most of what she said they did in the last year were focused on undergrad, not grad students. So at the following meeting on Friday during the call to audience, I had opportunity to speak about grad students, and I also mentioned to her that I'd be willing to talk to her on possible ways they could engage grad students on what they do or their plans and whatever they're doing regarding student funding. And she was willing to speak with me. So she recently set up an appointment with me for next week. I think I sent out an email about that, asking whoever was interested to give me any ideas as to things you think we might be interested in talking or discussing with her about. It's going to be a phone call next Wednesday. I'm happy I'm open to your suggestions, and I'm happy to discuss with you on those things, so I can possibly relate it to ways they can involve grad students on their planning for the next academic year, because I think by the next meeting they probably will do a lot of planning for the new academic year, and before then we want to get our word out there. We want to tell them at least some of our concerns on some things we think they could also do that could also impact or benefit grad students specifically, not just undergrad. That's something about it. I don't know if anyone has anything about it.
Yeah, I have 3 things. First, you can invite her to GPSC meeting in the future. She came previously a couple years ago, so she might want to come to a general council meeting in the fall. You can coordinate with Daniel about this time.
It was a really great meeting,
great,
I thought.
yeah.
The one issue was we never followed up with her on that plan she had laid out for making ABOR more transparent. And I think that was us dropping the ball. I don't think it was her. But I think it would be awesome if we could invite her back and then follow up with her throughout the year.
So you can invite her. Second, if you want, I can get on the phone call with you next week. Just send me an email. And then third, Jude did mentioned this briefly, but he did call the audience, and I read his call the audience, and it was really phenomenal. So thanks for speaking on behalf of graduate students while you're at ABOR.
No problem, sure. So you said invite her to our meeting, right?
Well, tell her in the fall we'd like to have her come to a general council meeting and ask her what her available times are. Well, we don't know yet, but just tell her at this point we'd like to invite her at some point when we know our schedule. We'll tell her the specifics.
And you'd like to be part of the meeting. I'll send you the time for.
Okay.
Okay, so that's for ABOR. Next on the agenda, I think it's meetings with colleges. This has been what I've been doing mostly for the last couple of months or a couple of weeks, what I should say. So far, I've met with I think 6 colleges. I had some meeting. I think one meeting with Jasmine, one with Zach, and the others have been mostly myself. I met with SBS, the assistant dean of law. I'm supposed to also know with the dean of law, know with the dean of public health. Myself and Zach met with the dean and assistant dean of engineering. I met with the Dean of Education and Assistant Dean of Pharmacy. And most of this discussion has been centered around ways they could help us improve our visibility in terms of reaching out to their grad students. Because like I said in my, it was one of my major agendas to see how we can engage more grad students, and I've been trying to do that starting at the college level. I've also met with a couple of HODs. I think I've met with 4 departmental heads so far. Right? I met with 2 today, the finance and I think Mexican studies. I think took something last week. But the point is, some of these meetings have been very productive in the sense that a lot of them have been willing to also help us send out information through their listserv. A couple of them have invited us to the orientation. Except for pharmacy, they said they might not give us some time to speak because they said they have too many student organizations that want to speak and they don't have that time. But they did offer to give us opportunities to do tabling, and I also suggested I would give them this to add to their packet. But he said he was going to set up a table for us for about 45 minutes student showcase. Aside from pharmacy, we do have invitations to speak at law orientation, medicine, SBS, those are the colleges. Education and engineering does not have a college-wide invitation. And then at the departmental level, I think we have about 4 or 5 departments right now that have confirmed I'm going to the orientation. I plan to work with general council members to, it wouldn't just be myself, only my goal is to probably go with the reps for each of these colleges or departments so that they possibly will be the face in the department or in college right now. And then like Zach also mentioned, with the colleges, Zach has been on top of that. There's been a couple of them have been willing to support us with some funding. Law said they were going to consider that. I spoke to Law about it today.
Dean Miller?
I spoke to Nancy, but I met Dean Miller briefly. But he said we were going to meet in August again. He said he was having a busy summer. But Nancy said she was going to talk to Dean Miller about it today. They haven't confirmed if they'll be supporting us or not, but she was willing to do that. She said she was going to try and see how what the decision will be on that. So a few colleges are willing to offer their support. I haven't started talking to companies, local companies, like I said, because I decided to talk to colleges first. I found out that they have relationships with some of these companies already. And one of the things I have picked up from them that I'm trying to avoid is conflict of interest, a situation where we are asking for funds from these companies and these colleges are also asking for funds, and it looks like a competition at the end of the day. So engineering said things like that. I think SBS told us they have an office of development.
Yeah.
Public Health said they have a lot of partners funding them already, and they probably want to stick to the internal. I think a few colleges have said things relating to not wanting to have conflict of interest in terms of talking with local companies. And I think one more thing, okay, about the orientation, part of what I did regarding international students, where I said I wanted to create a peer mentoring program for international students, I've been able to work with ISS to include, starting from the orientation, we want to have like a student section, which is something we've not had in the previous years, where students can come share their experience with them, like a breakfast setting, and also get to ask personal questions as a way to kick off a sort of peer mentoring program. We're trying to see how effective we can make that in the long run. And then finally, I think I want to talk about the RIP and Travel Grant Award on website. I don't know if anyone has anything.
Yeah, so just one thing that Jude didn't mention. So, and this is credit to Jude. So when we talked to the Dean of Engineering and an Associate Dean, we had like 4 items in the agenda. One of the things we talked about was research grant money, which they're going to give us. But it turns out they might also be willing to give us money for travel grant. So they do a little travel grant in-house. And Jude and I made the case, like, well, we've been doing travel grants for a long time. We're really good at it. We could just process travel grants and then put your name on a couple of these. And so they might actually be willing to give us some money for travel grants. So it was a nice example of where Jude had made the connection with the engineering. We talked about one funding opportunity. We might actually get another one. So that's something we Jude forgot to mention, but that, credit to Jude to have the conversation. Now we might actually get money for travel through just a conversation about something else. So that's the only thing about that.
That's correct, actually. I have followed up with Jim on that, and he said he was going to look at the funding, but I think they were willing to help us with that. We had that discussion actually, and he said they had some funding for their students for travel, but unfortunately, probably they don't have so much time to discuss it, but they're willing to bring it our way, and we'll discuss it for them to engineering students for travel. But it's still something that we're still in the process. I don't want to get ahead of myself and get too excited about that just yet, but it's a good point you mentioned that. Thanks, Zach. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about the RIP and Travel Awards. I think I'd also mention Showcase. From my discussion with some of these deans so far, she was in one of the meetings we had with SBS, and they suggested an idea that sometimes the college right now are not even aware of those who receive these awards from us, like travel grants or research grants. They don't even know about it. What if, when they receive the award, we send it to them, like the names of the students who receive the awards, and say to them, this and this person from your college received this award from us, and they may put it up on their website and kind of make the link to their student that, okay, this following student got this award in the last round, the next one is coming, try to apply to it, and that's also a way to improve improve on the number of persons who might be interested in our programs. And she mentioned that we thought it was really a cool idea, and I think Jasmine went further to send that out to, I think, SBS colleges, and one of them, was it Daniela, suggested that it might also be a good idea to not only have the names of these people on the college website, but what if we had them on our own website? I don't know if I'm correct on that.
I don't know if you got the attribution right, but that's the idea. Yeah, we put it on our website as like list of winners, names of the winners, and titles of their projects.
Yeah, exactly. So what if we had their names on our website also as a way to maybe really showcase what we're doing and make people aware of it. I'm going to agree with you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love the idea. I wonder if it could be part of the travel and research grant position description, or maybe working with Ray Rand that, every time we get that, it could just be on our website, and if we could just link to it.
It would be really easy because that list is already being generated for research grants for me to give to the general council anyway.
So we could put it on the website.
Yeah, we just copy and paste.
Cool. Yeah, I love the idea.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys think about.
I think
Great
travel
idea.
grants would be a lot harder is the only problem because
There's so many.
there's so many, and I don't think there's a convenient like database or anything. With research grants, it's small enough that it's really
So
easy.
we can start with research.
I think that might be.
Definitely. But I think Cameron told me the new system was going to make it easier to have such reports like
Okay.
departmental or college-based, those who receive awards. And if that information is accurate, which I believe it is, then we might also easily just make that information. And then I think I also spoke to, while I was talking to Assistant Dean of Pharmacy, he suggested something. He said he was surprised when I told him about the student showcase, and he said he sounded more like he wasn't very familiar with that. He suggested
Dean Jones?
no, Tom.
Oh, Ted Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he suggested that when we have such things, we can send them information regarding how many students in their colleges participated. That way they can send it out to their students also and brag about it, like we have this following grad students who participated in this research showcase, and this is the advice, so this is what we presented on. That way also we're also showing out what we do at the college level. I don't even make any sense. So I think those are the key things I wanted to bring.
Cool. Any questions for June? Great, thank you, June. So now that Ray's here.
Oh, so Maria said she forgot something in her
Okay.
report. So hang on. Okay, you're unmuted.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask, I was looking at our new website. I was trying to figure out who our current members are. And I'm not sure if our current website actually has all our constituent representatives on there. For example, last time I looked on the website, there wasn't a College of Education at all, any slots at all even available. So
Yeah.
I was just wondering if we have that updated or...
It looks like it's been fixed, I think.
Is it fixed now?
I think so. I'm finding education at least, and Daniel's saying it was fixed.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, yeah, I wasn't having good internet connection recently. All right, and the other thing was, yeah, so I didn't really hear completely the whole conversation related to social chair position. Some of it was kind of quiet, but basically, Elaine, if you need any like help with the position or anything, description related to governing docs or anything else, I'll be glad to help. Maybe I'll even remember something that the previous social chair did, if that's helpful at all. Yeah, I think that was mostly it. I was just trying to figure out who her constituents were. And yes, it's something like 3:37 a.m. right now here. So it's early morning. I think it's very light outside right now. Getting lighter. Anyway, that's all.
Cool. So let's go back briefly to the repository. So we put your and Jim's name next to it. So the basic idea is we want to be able to save previous things, and this is part of Jim's thing.
Right.
So maybe 2 more minutes we can add to this conversation.
As far as I know, a lot of the existing documents and whatever, what's his name? Jason found, like old minutes and whatnot, whatever old documents, currently on the GPSC Dropbox folder. I don't have an opinion one way or another. We can go with Box or Dropbox. I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, who's like, are we still paying the subscription every year? I don't know. So if we're trying to save money, although it's not much, we could always just switch to Box. But
Which is universally very well.
right, but is that a function that they'll keep forever? Because I mean, most likely Dropbox would stay almost forever. I would think.
Okay. Anyway, so this is part of your item, Jim, if you want to continue.
So I would suggest, let's start off with just dumping everything we can find in one place. And then, kind of lean more towards not leaving things out, like maybe we don't need this, let's just put it in there anyway. Let's collect as much as we can, and then I can start, and maybe other people can help. We can actually go through and
Sort out some stuff.
yeah, figure out how we can organize, because I don't even know what's there. I would hope we're gonna have a lot of cool stuff that we could maybe reuse, like old posters from old showcase, stuff that,
And there's like minutes somewhere from our first meeting in November 1991.
Yeah.
There's things like that.
yeah. So,
I don't know whether everything is on Dropbox, and I know there are a bunch of local drives, and I think Jason also mentioned I think that was a local drive, possibly an external drive in the office. Yeah, I really don't know a lot of the details in terms of what's available and whatnot. The biggest chunk of data that we have is on UITS's website, where we have our whole website. So that has all the old data, possibly a lot of the old web forms and whatnots, because apparently if you delete stuff in the fronts with Drupal, it's still saved in the back end. So there might be a lot of stuff with that.
So since it's an agenda item, do we want to, I think I said keep for next time. I mean, Jim wants to start something. Do you have recommendations on how to do it? I mean, Chris suggested Box.
either way, Ren and I can get together
Okay.
sometime before the next meeting.
Okay.
and we can-
So I'll just keep this on the agenda for next time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's okay if everyone, can we skip ahead to Wei Ren's report and then we'll go back to Chris since he's talking already? Did you have anything to report? Obviously the website's done.
Right,
so-
website's done.
Thank you.
There was a hiccup. But,
The biggest thing in history, and the response is no problem.
Yeah. Well, there was a hiccup. But, yeah, I mean, there was some miscommunication between Cameron, myself, Alexi, beginning at launch. Unfortunately, Cameron got a little annoyed in the whole situation, but fortunately, the old website is up and running. Was still up and running, and not too bad. We just needed to make some modifications. Besides that, it's up. What I really would like to work on next is there's some formatting things that I'd like to clean up a little bit better, make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. There are some things I have to look at with what HTML functionalities I have with the existing Vue-based themes. And I also want to work with the EV board in terms of making anything more clear on the website. I think you mentioned a few things. But so if you guys have anything you want done, let me know. There are a few other features I think that could be beneficial for the website that I'm compiling as a list. If you think of something, let me know. Then I'll put it together and I'll shoot it over to SESG for them to get that developed and done for our website. Besides that, so far so good. There are a couple of hiccups with the web forms, but I think those are all cleared up. That's it. Any questions?
Anything for Wayland? Jim?
Yeah, to the extent that we can migrate over the graduate enrichment program stuff from the old website, we have a bunch of new workshops now for the fall. And there were a bunch of old workshops that, we have the materials for, and, we put all that, like for a while, we actually had the materials for several dozen workshops. The slides and everything was there. It's probably the old website stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if it's still the whole website,
Yeah.
it's still there, not anything.
Yeah, so we could port over the current page and then add some of that old stuff where you actually have the slides from all these old presentations. Just put that up there.
Are they going to be using the future workshop?
Oh, well, no, the old workshop, we just, pay people to do the workshop, and we have the materials. and might as well-
So you're suggesting to put it as a resource?
Yeah,
Is there any other suggestions for Wayland? Sorry, did I cut you off prematurely, John? Did I cut you off
Yeah,
prematurely?
no,
Okay.
that was just to get that.
Anything else for Wayland?
For the repository, is it just documents relating to meeting as, or what is that we planning on having there?
In the repository?
Yeah.
As far as what we have, I don't know. What we have had in the past, and hopefully we still have some of, would be things like workload surveys, child care surveys, memoranda of understanding, agreements with administration, meeting minutes. At one point, we had a collection of hundreds of photos organized by the year of showcase, listings of award winners for showcase. Just there have been huge quantities of really neat stuff. And sort of a personal project, I would really like us to see, since we are in touch with a lot of the old presidents and officers from years past, I think it would be really cool if we can have pictures of the T-shirts from every year. We can get a hold of some of these folks. If you have your old T-shirt, take a picture, send it to us. Or we can have just an archive of all VPSC T-shirt pictures.
So I know all the computers in the office has a network router to Sausage's server. Beyond that, I'm not sure if maybe there's a way, I mean, if you wanted to start a repository, it would be good to have the existing people who use those computers to start saving stuff in a central repository. Maybe it's something that we can talk to Sausage about, since, you know, there's already a Z drive or network drive to, you know, whatever current workspace that we're using. So we can talk, and then we have to talk to Sausage to see what options is available through them as well.
Yes, what I would suggest, as sort of the first pass at this, and it's just a suggestion, would be we sort of view the situation as working documents and archive documents, so that when we're working on, say, this year's showcase, and we produce a bunch of materials, that's in the showcase directory on the network drive. And then once showcase is over and we're done with it, we move it to the showcase folder in the archive and label it, 2016 showcase. And just we kind of follow that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's currently up there for all the meeting minutes.
So maybe-
So it's archived and then it's existing quite currently right now.
So you guys, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not too worried about the file structure. You know, I'm more worried about where do we store it, how much, what is available to us, and how much space is available to us. So that's more of a concern.
Yeah, and I would think, space shouldn't, cost of space shouldn't be an issue. I mean, we can,
I don't know how much
yeah, I know, I don't know.
data there is.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much data there is either.
Yeah.
So I've left this on for the next meeting agenda.
Yeah,
Give us a report.
We'll do nerd geek talk and we'll figure it out.
Nice, please record that for everyone's, future.
You can live stream it.
Yeah, and then we can archive the Nerd Geek Talk
Yeah.
too. So,
Just
go
to add
ahead.
something, sorry, I don't think it's possible for those data. Is it possible to have like an archive of GC members and maybe their contact information? Since we're trying to create a relationship with our alumni, it might be good to maybe start getting such information. That might be helpful for not just this administration, but also future administration that may want to contact alumni. Might be able to really.
I think anyone who graduated from U of A would be alumni, no?
Yeah, anyone definitely. But you
Are you
also
talking about,
have people-
He means GPSC alumni.
Specific GC?
I have
members? Oh, okay.
an Excel spreadsheet of all that. It would be good to enter somewhere else at some point. It's like 25
Like-
tabs.
officers and
Yeah.
GC council members, because they are the ones who really participated in GC activities and might be willing to also come back in the future and support one or two things. It might be harder to get somebody who never participated in GC in GPSC activity to maybe support you with funding in the future. But if you have say someone like that in 10 years from now, you might be willing to, who knows, give the council right there some funding or something. But just saying.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And additionally, everybody from someone who is just a member of GPSC and has good memory and had a good time to somebody who is president, we're talking hundreds of people at this point. And they could have access to terrific resources that we don't even know about that they'd be willing to help out as far as, money, as far as political contacts, as far as, maybe somebody knows some, people to legislation.
Getting jobs.
Could that be also achieved through, could we reach out to past alumni through social media?
Yeah, I have a lot of it. I have most of it.
Yeah, so I would say that, as far as what we can do in archive is like the list of, by year who the rep was. But then we should also have sort of, as a separate thing, a running list of alumni contact information, and maybe even, not just name and phone number, but some notes about, in 2017, Zach got a hold of this person and
Yeah,
they said this.
so I have a lot of those things in Excel spreadsheets, so maybe I can geek out with you guys.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
let's put that on as a permanent resource that people can keep adding to. Because it would be really cool if we could maybe once a year actually do like a reunion or something. So how many people we could get. I think it would just be really neat.
So next item, Chris, you're up.
Yeah, really just wanted to really update you on some staffing and what's been going on with that. As far as the coordinator for programs goes, we did hire Talia Myrick for
Oh,
that
nice.
position. And so, yeah, she did very well. She's actually here in town already. She moved from Georgia already, so she's actually going to be in the office tomorrow morning just to say hi and kind of get some stuff taken care of before she goes off to a conference that she was planning for already. And so, so I'll bring her around to GPSC tomorrow morning if anybody's around.
What time?
I'm not sure when she'll be in. I think it's going to be more in the morning time, probably around like 10 o'clock. So,
You have Mercy on the playing secretary. What's her name again?
Talia. Her last name is Myrick, or Myrick. I think it's Myrick. M-Y-R-I-C-K or K. And so she'll be working with Claudia, doing programs, doing events and everything. And so, some, they're going to talk about more how that works out for this next year. But I'm guessing, Claudia will take the lead with working with Elaine and working with Kevin and everything. Talia will probably shadow a lot more and kind of see how the events go, how Showcase goes, the pickup, the our grad orientations and those sort of things, just so she can kind of see how things run and everything. And then going into year 2, there might be some changes, but I think that's how we probably function this year. But they're going to talk about that more in July to figure out how everything works. And so you'll get to work with her quite a bit this next year. And then for the assistant director, we hired Megan Parecki, who will be working with services, so the travel grants program, REAP, the funding, those sort of programs. She'll be working with clubs and registration and those sort of things. And she will actually be the staff member that's housed in GPSC. And so she will, Alexi's working to clean out the Days Old office right now. And the plan is for her to kind of transition over there starting July 4th. Or 5th, back in the break, to start transitioning over to being over in GPSC. So, and right now we are currently working on hiring a coordinator for services, which Megan would supervise. And I know Daniel is on that committee right now and helping with that search and everything. And you'll have the opportunity to go to those student leader meetings as well once we get those candidates on campus in July.
Do we need GPSC official email addresses for them, or do they currently already have one? Like,
No,
is there
we
one
won't.
exist-
Yeah, we won't need any official. We'll just use their emails, things like that. So, yeah.
What was Megan's last name?
Parecki. Forecki.
And does she have access to some kind of financial information that Stella and Cindy have?
She will, yeah. Yeah, right now, Megan's been at the university for 4 years. Right now, she's overseeing volunteer UA, as well as doing our assessment for the office and doing a lot of working with Bear Down Camp and some of those different programs for ASUA. And so she'll be kind of transitioning over to working with some new areas and things like that and some new challenges and so forth. But she definitely knows the university, knows working with Estella and working with Cindy and all of them already. So that'll be helpful.
Well, what I mean specifically, both Cameron and Jody have pointed out that their jobs are kind of hard to resolve because they can't actually get to the real budget information.
Yeah.
And Alexi can't either because she doesn't have enough clearance or whatever.
Yeah, and we'll need to fix that.
So
Because
that-
really,
so-
she should be at a point where she does have that clearance.
So will Megan have that, or?
Megan probably won't. I mean, she'll have some of the same clearances, with access and some of those things, analytics and those sort of things, to be able to work with the travel grants program and REAP and everything. But I mean, we are going to rely on our business team to provide those financials, and we can try and find a better process to get more updated things.
Yeah, because it really looks like it would help a lot if, the POD club funding, all the people dealing with money could actually, as they're doing their job, turn around and ask somebody, Lexi or they, hey, what's the balance in this account? Did we pay this person? In sort of almost in real time, within a couple of minutes, they could do their jobs a lot better is
Yeah.
what they told me. And for me to do my job, that would also be very helpful. You know, I can stop into the office and we can, because I'm going to be running a shadow account for all of our accounts, and I'd like to be able to periodically, hey, here's what I've got, this is what you've got, and that's how we're going to hopefully find money being spent that shouldn't be spent, or accounts going over budget, or things like that. And find out about it while we just go do something about it, rather than, you know, end of the year.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So anything else, Chris, you want to talk about anything else budget related or?
No, I know that, we've been talking about GDP and some of those things as well, and I know it's going to be talked about tomorrow, and so, whatever is approved and everything, we just need to figure out how that's voted and all that kind of stuff, and so figure out how to do that. There are going to be some potential issues with forward spending student services from money, but I think, I was talking to Zach today about potential ways to work around that and still be able to do what we want to do with that program, as far as stating that the GEP program is important and that we are working towards doing things in the fall to show that grad students want workshops and so forth. And so we'll need to figure out if things do get approved and so forth with GC that to make it work.
Cool. Any questions for Chris? Cool. So the next item is for reports, which is sort of redundant. This is a placeholder. I think we all kind of talked a lot about what we're doing already. So if it's okay, I'll skip over that and move to roundtable. So roundtable we haven't done. I just saw this used previously, and so it's where everyone goes around and talks about something in their life that's not related to GPSC, something personal, 10, 15 seconds or whatever, so people kind of know each other, and then we can finish up. So we've done it a couple times in the past. And since I brought it up, I'll start. I just did a big trip around the country, 22 states in 22 days. And so that's my personal thing. What do you got? What's your personal thing? It's not GPSC.
Wow.
So much, right?
I don't know. Life as a grad student, I guess that is my life.
It sounds like it.
Trying to get this paper done with my advisor halfway across the country.
Woohoo!
Currently teaching elementary kids, K through 6th grade. I've got, it's like a little dance summer camp thing, so that's where I was coming from. Got one more week with them, then I'm done.
I think was, I was going to say I don't have a life, but, well, one cool thing is I do work with domestic violence victims. We just got a restraining order for a little autistic kid, a 7-year-old boy who was severely abused. So we got a restraining order after 2 years in court, finally get him away from the abusive parent, and he's getting some therapy now, and already after only 2 days, he's doing a lot better.
Wow.
So, it's really cool.
Cool. Elaine?
So I went to my 4th yoga class in 4 weeks, which is my 4th yoga class in like 3 years. And I got into an arm balancing pose, and I was so excited. It's like my first time ever getting into an arm balancing pose.
Oh, nice.
So you support your weight just on your arms.
Nice
And
work.
kind of get into like a return crane position.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
How about Jude? What do you got?
Nothing super exciting. I think for me it's mostly been research, and I'm trying to learn a new language. I want to learn Spanish.
Okay, what?
And also swimming. That's the things I'm trying to do outside from GPSC work.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy the rest of the summer. It's going fast. So I think it's going to be July next week already. So
It is.
yeah, it's kind of amazing how fast summer goes. But
Daniel?
I've been trying to teach undergraduates how to read the Maltese Falcon all week, and it's kind of working. So,
Cool.
My house is officially mine, and I'm starting to move in this weekend.
Cool. How about Maria? Does she have anything?
Yep, you're unmuted.
Cool, thanks. So I'm in Russia. It's 3:52 a.m. I finally get to see my mom. It's a little bit crazy because I feel like an alien from outer space, and everyone is overdressed, I'm a bit frustrated with my technology because stuff isn't working, but I'm hoping it'll start getting better. But otherwise, it's really great. The weather is better. It's not hot. It was raining a couple days.
What's the temperature there now?
Well, it was kind of like warmish. It was 29 like Celsius and 30 Celsius, but I don't really feel it. It seems very mild. It's very green, lots of grass, pretty nice.
Well, you're missing 116 Fahrenheit here?
I can't hear you. Sorry.
It's 106 right now.
Oh, wow. Well, that's on.
Cool. All right, so thank you, Maria. At this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
Are we able to get to our audience member?
Oh, audience member. Thank you.
Called audience.
You're the audience. We have a call the audience, the first part of the agenda. Did you want to say anything? Thank you, Daniel.
Well, I just want to talk to Jude. I've actually, over the summer, been trying to get in contact with different people in the College of Fine Arts so that I can try to get a little bit more information about GPSC out there. It's a little tricky trying to get in contact with particular people, but I'm still trying to see what avenues I can go into and try to go to their orientations or just walk around their offices or something like that so that we'll have a lot more people that could be interested in filling a position after I'm done. So that's what I'm doing this summer.
Sweet. Thanks, Daniel, for the reminder. That was a call the audience. Okay. Any motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, no one against. Excellent. So the time is, what time is it now? 5:55, so 5 minutes early. We started 10 minutes late. Nice work.